First is sponsored by Gillette, the best a man can get.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to First Things First. I'm Jenna Wolf. That is the Hall of Famer Chris Carter. This right here is Nick Wright.
Nice bracelet, my friend.
Yeah, I got friends. I got
Troy Vincent
gifts.
from the NFL League office stopped by yesterday.
Yeah.
Showered CC here with some really nice gifts.
Yeah, I got the NFL looking at me, so now I'm wearing my Walter Payton pin and everything.
Nice. Hey. I like it. Nice little day yesterday. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, it was a good day on the golf course.
Good day on the golf course.
That was a very long shake.
Yeah.
It was a little awkward, if I'm being completely honest.
He tried to do a little over.
He's coming, man.
We have a very, very jacked show for you today. Stacked is what I was going with, and then I said jacked. Brett Favre is worried about Aaron Rodgers. Ben Roethlisberger knows what he has to do now that Lev Bell and AB are gone, but we got to start once again with them Dallas Cowboys and mounting tensions within this organization.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott remains away from training camp. It is being reported that Zeke told the team back in January that he wouldn't play a game this season without a deal. And back in February, Stephen Jones said the negotiations with Zeke would probably start with Todd Gurley's deal. And while Jones says that type of deal is still possible, man, it certainly doesn't seem likely.
I still, think that's within realm. At the same time, I think the market reset with Le'Veon. I think you see what happens with Gurley, how tenuous it is. And then you get a great player like Le'Veon, who's every bit as well thought of as Gurley, and he had unfettered free agency. He had 32 teams with no draft picks attached. And the market was 13.5 and less than Gurley. So, at the end of the day, business changes. And we certainly pay attention to that as well.
All right, Nick, I'll start with you. You think Todd Gurley's deal should be a cautionary tale for the Cowboys with Zeke?
Oh, I think potentially, whether it should or shouldn't be, it's clear the Cowboys are treating it as one, as something to learn from and not make the same mistakes. I also find the language Stephen Jones using to be very interesting. I've only ever heard of a deal resetting the market upwards. He is saying Le'Veon Bell's deal reset the market downwards.
Which it did.
Well, but I've never heard it phrased like that. Usually we talk about Julio Jones. When he gets his new deal, it will reset the wide receiver market. After Michael Thomas just reset the wide receiver market, that different quarterback deals. Matt Ryan's reset the quarterback market. But what Stephen Jones is saying, and it's a little funny wordplay, but I think it's an interesting move by him saying, no, it can go both ways. It's not just that the market is at the highest deal. He's saying the market's at the most recent deal. So Todd Gurley set the market here, but Le'Veon Bell reset it down here. So Zeke is operating from this place instead of this place. I'd never thought of it that way. And one should know that when Stephen Jones did talk about giving Todd Gurley the deal, as you mentioned, that was in February. Le'Veon Bell got his deal in March, and they're looking at it and saying, well, Todd Gurley, 4 for 58 with 45 guaranteed. That's one thing. Le'Veon Bell, 4 for 53, more importantly, with only 27 guaranteed. Oh, that's more our speed. Zeke, though, doesn't want to hear none of this. Zeke looks at, I'm the best running back in the league, so who makes the most? I should make more than them. And so this is where, to something Chris been saying the last few days, that this could stretch, that this could get ugly. If the Cowboys are operating from the perspective of Le'Veon Bell is the starting point, and Zeke's operating from the perspective Todd Gurley's the starting point, it's not the 5 years in total, or the $5 million in total salary difference. It's the $18 million in guarantees that are the difference that they are haggling over. And so I think Stephen Jones, this maybe should have been their position earlier than right now, that maybe they should have never said at the Combine, we know it starts at Todd Gurley. Maybe at that time they thought Le'Veon Bell was going to get the type of deal Le'Veon Bell thought he was going to get, so it didn't matter. But they have kind of backed themselves into a corner that they're trying to squeeze their way out of when it comes to their public comments about what Zeke will or won't get.
I have a feeling you're going to agree with me. Stop talking so much. Every day we hear another comment, and they're starting to contradict with things they say earlier. Ezekiel Elliott and his team, they hear every single word of this, and now you have to wonder whether things are really going to get out of control. Now the tension's about as high as it's going to get between the two sides.
Absolutely, Jenna. They need to negate whatever the storyline or the narrative and control it. They don't have to address it. They can talk about the players that are there. After they said that they had made top 5 offers to everyone, there's no need to keep talking about it, because the more they talk is the more rope that eventually they're going to end up hanging themselves for, because the Dallas Cowboys are not ready to live in a world that does not exist without Ezekiel Elliott in it. Now, if they were like the Pittsburgh Steelers, but we didn't think the Pittsburgh Steelers would even be able to do that. So it was a combination of Pittsburgh and then L. Bell deciding that he was going to hold out. But they're not helping their case. But I do believe, a lot like you, Jenna, we discussed it this morning, like this is going to get ugly. You can see the makings of it because of, if you try to do the top 5 salaries at every position, every owner would like to take, every general manager would like to take one of those salaries out of there. The left tackle for New England Patriots, he was not that good. He reset the market.
Trent Brown going to Oakland.
Going to Oakland. After limited experience, 1 year with the Pats, he gets this ginormous deal. And I can guarantee you, general managers are out there saying, hey, don't come to me talking about his deal. All right? He was a free agent. Now, I could understand why Steven would want to talk about L. Bell, because, man, that's a contract that they would do today.
It's reasonable because they can get out. After 2 years, you have no accountability to the player.
Right, but this is the problem. You got 2 years before you even get to that deal. So in 2 years, what will the deal look like then? See, I don't think it's a bad thing that Zeke pushes them to the wall and then ultimately comes into camp, plays out this last year, and then gets that ginormous deal, because they'll have more flexibility because of Dak and Amari potentially can be done at that point. But I don't think Zeke is going to blink until they start to get to the regular season game. And Jenna, you asked me this morning, do I think Zeke's going to miss some time? I believe it's going to get ugly. I believe that first game, he's not going to be there for the Dallas Cowboys. Jenna and I share that same opinion. And Jerry Jones loses in that, because ultimately Zeke's going to come back this season.
Well, that's the words you used, cautionary tale, that the Cowboys are looking at Todd Gurley's situation as potential cautionary tale. Zeke's not doing any talking. Zeke's down in Mexico, and it's probably to his benefit he's not doing any talking. But if he were...
He did release a statement yesterday. Because when you have friends in the media, sometimes you don't have to say anything.
Right. So it would appear Zeke's camp is the one that released to Josina Anderson, hey, I told them about this in January, but he's not on video. We don't have his voice. We can't officially ascribe it to him. But what I'd be saying if I were Zeke, because I have trouble not talking even when I shouldn't sometimes, is, hey, you want to know what the cautionary tale is? It's what happened to the Steelers last year. Hey, with Le'Veon Bell. The cautionary tale is not overpaying for a guy. The cautionary tale is not paying a guy, have him not show up in a team that went 13-3 the year before, misses the playoffs the next year, even with a good backup running back, which we don't know if Dallas has. So, I mean, you can play both sides of this, man. You can talk about the Rams, whether or not they feel good about Gurley. And by the way, we shouldn't act like Todd Gurley had a career-ending injury. We don't know what Todd Gurley's going to look like this year. We're just apprehensive about it because of the final month of the season. We do know what the Steelers looked like last year without Le'Veon Bell.
One thing the Cowboys do have in common with the Pittsburgh Steelers, their ownership, their management, they got serious concerns about the running back more off the field than they do on the field. The reason why Pittsburgh didn't give him the deal, even the friendly deal that the Jets were able to give Le'Veon Bell. Him and Zeke have that in common, and I believe that affected the money. Todd Gurley, no issues. He got an issue with his knee, but nothing as far as his character.
Right. And timing is an issue. This is a team that can win right now if all 3 of these pieces are in place, and the last thing I'm sure the Joneses want to do is start a season without one of their 3 cogs. All right, we'll take a break. Coming up is 2019, going to be a bounce-back season for Big Ben and the aforementioned Steelers. That's next on FS1, and you can always check us out on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. We'll be right back.